is physical wealth.
Oh, am I? Sorry. It's been quite a time. Hello, this is the Adroit Living session of the Erudition Network. Um, I've been rather busy today, as a lot of followers have may have noted. I lost my father over the last few weeks, so I've been off air dealing with that. But today is 10/16/23. My daddy would always say, I don't know what the date is. You got to say the date. Tell me the date so I know which video I'm watching. Now, he was one of my very loyal viewers. So I'm definitely going to miss messing around with my daddy. But I can't even remember all of the things about it's been so much going on. I'm going to just do the show today. I had a lot going on. My phone has not stopped ringing since my father went into hospice. So I was like, I got to get on and make sure that, I do an episode so everyone knows I'm back. I've shared some things on my Facebook, Tina Phillips. You'll see my face. You can join, you can follow me there. Let me see. Okay, so this program, I'm going to leave a description in the YouTube of all the things that this show is intended to do. But let me see if I can. I guess it wasn't quite as ready as I thought it was to come on. This is an interactive program, and it addresses the whole man. We talk a lot about mental health and well-being. I've done quite a few shows based on request, and I am so sorry that I'm late today, but it happens. It happens. But again, I have many videos that you can go back on YouTube and watch where I'm far more put together than I am today. But I really wanted to get on and do an episode. I have so much that I want to say. But first, let's start with thank you for all of my followers and all of my supporters. You are really, when I was in Chicago, and everybody really showed a great deal of support, a lot of love, and I'm greatly appreciative. I don't normally share a lot of the things that I go through because, everybody has a story. So, sometimes we don't have time to say, look, my life is difficult. You just have to get the picture. You know what I'm saying? We all have a difficult life. But, this is an interactive show, so please feel free to comment. Hi, Sean Anthony. Thank you for joining. Help me out. Help me out. Okay. There was a lot going on just before the show. I was on a couple of calls back to back, and all that business kind of took me out of the mindset of the show. Plus, I'm backlogged with a lot of other work. So I'm like, oh, I'm trying to catch up. And then 5 o'clock stuck up on me before I could know it. I'm online. I'm like, oh, Lord, I didn't even know I was there. Okay. So, oh, no. Let me see if I can do this. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so I have a lot of pictures to show you guys. My experience in Chicago was rather adventuresome. I didn't know if I was going to make it, but I did, and my family went to hospice to see my dad, and I got a chance to play with him for the last time. I took a picture with me putting my fingers up behind his head and showed it to him, and then played around, made a whole bunch of jokes. And then I had to go again far too soon. And after I left, it was quite a while. I got caught up with something with my uncle, and then my father called for me. So I ran back into the room and I screamed, "Oh man, did you call me? You called me?" And he laughed. He could barely speak or even open his eyes, but he laughed and he said, one last time, one last time. So that was just the little, the little thing we do, just playing around with each other all the time, all the way to the end. But I he passed while I was there, but we went into a couple of other emergencies that I had to tend to. So I still missed the balloon release ceremony, but I put on my Facebook page, let's do a balloon release for my dad and then post online. The funnier, the better. So if you haven't done it yet, do me and my dad a favor. Do a balloon release and, say his name. His name is Howard. Say his name and tell him that's for me. All right? For me and you. But anyway, he'd enjoy that. He really enjoyed that. So maybe we start a YouTube trend or a social media trend where everybody's doing funny balloon releases, where you release a balloon and it falls down instead of goes up. I don't know. Just, the funnier the better. That would be awesome. So please make sure you comment on the Erudition Network page so I can see your comments and reply to them. Or you can go on YouTube where you can type in exactly what you see on the screen there, Tina Phillips, Adroit Living, and you'll see me and we can talk. This is interactive. I answer questions. I also do requests on shows. It's not just about Tina's opinion. I provide holistic information that is accredited. So it's not just my opinion or someone else's opinion. It's facts. Yes, we'll miss the old man. He was a joker. Yes, and he loved Eddie. He loved Eddie. I tried to call up to the hospital to see what was going on because I was getting mixed messages. And the nurse asked if I was Eddie Phillips. I'm like, Eddie? I'm Tina, his daughter. So when I finally reached the old man, I said, did you disown me and adopt Eddie? He's just the son-in-law, right? And I'm the actual child, right? So he laughed and we laughed and it was ridiculous. But anyway, there's a lot going on that I wanted to share. Normally, I have something written down that can get me back to the topics. But today, again, I was busy working up until the last second that it ran overtime. And now I'm sitting here like, where's my notes? But anyway, when I was in Chicago, I was honored at my old church for a lot of the work that I do and the work that I have done, which oftentimes creates generational wealth. The thing about it is I don't talk about what I do because it's not my testimony to give. It is the testimony of those people that I help. Does that make sense? So allowing other people to tell other people what I do allows me to stay humble about what I do and stay focused on what I do so I can work more effectively. Because the fact of the matter is, I'm blessed to be able to do what I do. I'm blessed to be exceptional at the things that I do. I'm blessed to be able to help people create generational wealth in a new way that's never been done before. For example, most recently, I've been moving since 2018. I decided to move towards helping in a global manner, if that makes sense. So I'm military affiliated, through my family, my brother, my sister, my uncles, and of course, Eddie, my husband. So when I finally got married to him, it was not, anything new. I'm accustomed to going around and being, around. So in 2018, I decided that I would turn my efforts to global um, industries and do more work globally. So I was looking at a lot of global studies, peer-reviewed studies, and seeing what can I do? What can I do? How can I do anything? What do I do? I had already helped with the University of Phoenix. I attended the University of Phoenix and I graduated with honors. And don't scoff at getting a degree from online University of Phoenix when you don't have a degree at all. Now, I'm just saying. And if you've ever attended any kind of online learning programs and you think that it's easy to get, pass with honors, I ain't mad at you if you're able to accomplish it. But if you can't accomplish it, don't scoff at it. Okay? Don't say it's easy if you haven't gave it a try, because I'm going to admit to you, it is not easy, and it was not me. It was a lot of prayer, because I have other things going on in the background and communities that I'm helping, communities in need, communities that are at risk, as well as a few elite, you know, companies and organizations and people who have stature and status. But I don't say anything about it because it's not my job to do that. If they mention me, they give me a shout out, I'm grateful for it, but it is not, it is not obligated to them to, shout me out and lift me up and, let everybody know, yes, that's where it came from. However, when I was in Chicago, um, Superintendent Lawrence Jones celebrated his retirement and stepping down as superintendent. And he asked me to come. And I said, well, I don't know if I can do that. I got a lot going on. There's some global stuff. And, my information is trending out there, but I'm still stuck. And anyway, so he said, when I explained it to him, and I don't do that, I don't normally do that. Even when I spoke with his mother, I never did that. I just, it's always upbeat. Everything's cheery. And, we go on from there. But he said, in my explaining it to him, this is a matter for the church. And I said, well, I don't normally say anything. He said, well, you don't have to say nothing. I'm going to tell it all. So he wanted to tell everyone what I've been able to do for him and helping him to be as established as he is and create generational wealth. And I greatly appreciate the acknowledgement, and especially, the fact that he didn't forget once he decided that he wanted to retire. Now, the things that I did for him, his mom adopted us when we were just little kids, and our parents were like, well, what about us? Adopt us too. But anyway, I took it to heart, and I wanted to do something back, because what's the purpose in being a part of a big family if you're not contributing nothing? Now, I'm not saying everybody has to, feel that way, but that was my perspective of things. And I was helping so many people who are strangers to me, people that I would never see again, but they were standing in need. I was helping them create generational wealth. But the people that I see every day who are also standing in the need of generational wealth, I wasn't helping them. So I wanted to do something for the people that I love, the people that I'm a part of, the family that I'm growing up with. And Pastor Lawrence Jones, at the time, he was not Superintendent Jones. He grew to become Superintendent Jones. But I connected with him, and we developed a plan, and he followed the plan. And not only did he follow the plan and keep me abreast until we went through with initiating the plan and implementing the plan, but he never told anyone the plan. So no one else could capitalize on the plan that I developed for him. but he wanted other people to know that if you want something like what he has, he letting you know who to call. So I greatly appreciate him telling people that my phone has not stopped ringing. Um, so if I'm backlogged with calls, please forgive me. I'm still doing a lot of research and doing a lot of other works that I was already doing before you found out about me. So I will get back to you, I assure you. But anyway, so with him saying that he's going to tell it, it made me think perhaps I should share at least his story. But you can always see his story because New Nation Ministries, my old church, they go live stream. So the reason why it's my old church is because I'm not in Chicago anymore. I don't live in Chicago, but that's still home. That's still home. And Superintendent Lawrence Jones passed the torch to his son, Rodney Jones. And Rodney Jones is a good guy. He's a really good man. And he is the pastor of New Nation Ministries. And I was really happy to see when my pastor, the late, great, honorable prophetess, Dr. Hattie B. Jones, passed the torch to him because he is a good man. And he's doing right by the legacy. So, and then there's Joe and some other people, and it's like it's still home. That's family. That's home. And I'm always going to make sure I reach back and take care of home, no matter what I'm doing globally for other people who are strangers. This is still family. So I'm always going to take care of home. So I was really appreciative that Superintendent Jones didn't forget. And he said he wanted it to go down in the history books of all the things that I did for his church, because without that, it would not have existed. So definitely check that story out and check out New Nation Ministries. It's on Facebook, I believe. I don't know if it's on YouTube. I've been a little out of touch because I've been extremely busy, so you got to forgive me. But I'm getting ready to go back to being more online, and I'm going to bring some more really great information to you with evidence and pictures. Hey, sis, I appreciate you coming. Stay tuned, stay tuned. And I really appreciate the love. You have no idea, no idea. We oftentimes forget what the small, non-monetary, expressions of love and appreciation look like and feel like. We often overlook that because we don't get it. We don't get it often enough for us to value and put a proper monetary value on it, because really it's invaluable. And Jack is one of those people who provide invaluable love. Can't put a price on that. I really appreciate her. And there was others, but forgive me for not having all this written down and shouting out more names. I'm still mentally processing everything that I've been going through. It was happening so fast and back to back, and so many things were going on that I didn't have a time, to really process everything. And it's some other stuff going on. I'm like with these emails, and I'm like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what's going on, but it's okay. I love you, sis. I really do. But so the things that I've done and I don't talk about, let me explain one of them after the fact of helping Superintendent Jones. It seems like some people, they don't realize that it's possible to help create generational wealth, and not brag and boast about it or whatever. But I want it to be known that the work I've done most recently, the global work that I've done, is important because it advances the online school community, because it further validates the possibility of online learners legitimately contributing to advancing industries, just like brick and mortar learners like Harvard. And, it doesn't just mean people are parroting. For example, I've advanced the global HR human resources community by attending an online PhD program. In that, a lot of people say things like, oh, you have an online degree, it doesn't mean anything. Oh, you have an online degree, you're parroting from others. You don't have individual creative thought, let alone the ability to develop critical thinking skills that can advance anything. That is not true. An online degree is just as valid as if you were to attend a brick and mortar school. A lot of people who are extremely intelligent, they can't afford Harvard prices, even if they get accepted. And get scholarships, they still can't afford the education, or I should say, a degree from Harvard. That does not reduce their ability to be just as smart as they are if they were to attend a different school. I know, I've proved it. I've experienced that personally. I chose to do that because it's important for us as we are continuing to evolve, continuing to grow and learn. It's important for us to understand that these new developments are not limited by your understanding, your appreciation for how evolution is taking place. For example, brick and mortar school, they were trying to develop an organization from school that pre-existed their creation, their development. The original method of schooling was homeschooling. Then it evolved to brick and mortar school. Brick and mortar school has an evolution, and that evolution is online schooling. And online schooling is under attack because people, that's what they do. They don't like change, even though change is inevitable, which is like, really? You don't like change? It's inevitable. You can't stop it. They can slow it down, but you can't stop it. So online schooling is just as valuable as any other method of schooling. And a lot of people elected not to go to online schooling because they didn't want to say, oh, your degree doesn't mean anything because you went online. But they could not afford the time, the money, the effort to go to a brick and mortar school, but they had the intelligence, the innovative thought, the creative skills and ability in order to obtain the degree of their heart. So they did not follow the beat of their drumming heart. They followed what people call in the box. So it's now showing that there's more opportunities out there than what was once the day of old. Absolutely, I agree with you. Yes, different time. Yeah, and the different times is like, you may have to work in the evenings. Did you know you can go online and during your break online at work, you can just go online for that hour lunch break, do some studying, post some paperwork or a thought that may change the world. You can do that. I know. I've tried it. I've done it. We're in a different time where online learning will be reaching those who couldn't. Like, for example, shut-ins. Jackie, no. Shut-ins. It's reaching shut-ins. It's advancing people who were never thought that they would be able to obtain a degree, because it's also catering to not just your time, but your individual learning ability. For example, after I had my last baby 12 years ago, the baby was so heavy, I could not walk after the 3rd month of gestation. But it was different this time because all of my babies were that heavy. I tried to put on some weight because I was modeling the size 0. And I was like, well, maybe if I put on some weight, I'll be able to carry the babies without having a problem. Yes, Jackie, that's the key word, flexibility, you know. And because the baby was like so heavy, it paralyzed it paralyzed me from the waist down. I couldn't walk. My legs were paralyzed. So I had to quit going to school, and my endeavors were cut short. I couldn't enroll into my PhD program. So when I finally enrolled into the PhD program, I saw that despite my inability to be flexible to join one program where I would have to, at some point in time, be hybrid, be online, but be in person as well, it was another option where I could do the entire program online, and it's just as rigorous, it's just as important, and my work is still um, holding the influence that it would if I was in Harvard. How do you say? Keep watching. I'm going to show you. But unfortunately, my name is not currently on there, and some people are insisting I have not earned my PhD in industrial organizational psychology. However, I've done the work and my work is trending, but it's a formality. Anyway, so I have a tendency to see this box, but Pablo Picasso, you know, is like a Picasso. You see what you, everyone sees something different. You look at this box this way, and there's people inside. I look at the box and it looks like this. Everything is falling out. So in the box, Pablo Picasso, let's call the whole thing hindsight. You like that? You like that? Check out my other videos for more. In the box, Pablo Picasso, let's call the whole thing hindsight. Y'all can stitch that. Y'all can stitch that. This digital age, I'll be doing some things. I'm just saying. You know, you covered information that people put out there, but this digital age shows everything. So it's showing that's my work. And I have evidence to prove everything that I need to prove, but I would like to afford the opportunity for them to make the necessary corrections. However, once I informed the upper management, all the way up to the chancellor and the board of trustees, everyone, that these things were happening, somehow people, they stop holding those positions of power, and no one can find who I'm supposed to talk to now about these things. That's not stopping my message. Someone said, you don't have enough followers, so they're not worried. Let me show you something about this new age thing and the way it works. What happens is people, they see what you put out there. They like it. They take it and they copy it. But it's still able to be traced to who it is the originator of that work is. And it'll always be, because when you put something online, no matter how much you scrub, no matter how much you try to write script over it. Now, before I studied psychology, well, not before, but I went in as a major in psychology, and then I changed to computer programming. And then I changed back to psychology. You know how that goes. You know, you find something interesting, because I didn't want to do a double major. And then again, I started to think like, and I said, you know what? I can do whatever I want to do, and I don't have to tell anybody what I do. So there's that. So I continue to study and acquire information at the upper echelon level for computers and computer networking. A lot of people call it, with the CompTIA, it's called CISSP. But I did a show about that, and I'll do more where I'll show you even more and get more into details with that. Today, I'm just doing a catch-all show. We're going to call this catch-all, okay? Because I just wanted to get back online, get everybody up to date, bring them up to speed, and try some things out. So if you're looking like I don't have time for school. I don't want to be bothered with all the hectic political problems that are going on with school. I get it. I get it. Online schooling is not just flexible in your time and your ability, it's also flexible with recognition. Recognition. And I have some videos out there where I've showed how you can make sure you get recognition for your work and how you can store your information. Now, me, I store in redundancy because computer programming, once you get that kind of mindset, it just kind of sticks in there. It just sticks in there. I told you in the very first show, you don't know what's in his head. There's just a whole lot going on. And it's some of it, a lot of it's funny. So, but I store in redundancy, which means that you know how some students they bring these little recorders in into the lecture hall. Yeah, I know y'all are looking at them like they the nerds. They not the nerds. Those the smart ones because they could nod off. They could go out catch something to eat. They can miss what the lecture hall person said, and guess what? They still know what they said, exactly what they said. Yes, there you go. There you go, Tony. Now Tony is this is his speciality. Go ahead, Tony. Thank you for coming. uh that's you, Jackie. I know. It's a lot of people, but we need to put it out there. I did online school for a while, praying for it. Hey, I get it. I get it, and I got you. I got you, and I got so many others because a lot of people have no idea that the work that I've done is profound and it's going to help so many of you. And I'm going to do it regardless of those letters. So they can tell me I don't have enough followers. They can tell me they don't know what my influence is, but my influence is global. And the things that I do trend. So and the work that I've done for the schools is also trending, regardless of whether they took my name off my work or not. We'll get into that because everything that has been taken from me, I'm going to get it all back with interest because that's the way it works. What has happened? Hey, I understand. Don't get me twisted. I want to do a collab with you, Tony. We need to do a collab where I send you we do this and I'll stay on for your show because I know that you have a show that comes on the Mondays as well. We could do a collab where I do my side, then you do yours, and we hook up like that because you got some things going on, bro. People need to know, people need to see. But with the schooling, the reason why it's important is because it's evolution. It's happening regardless of who likes it, who doesn't like it, or whatever. It's happening. All right, let's do that. So it's like, how can I explain it? There's a lot of propaganda, and it's mostly because of for-profit schools have developed this poor stigma for being predator schools. That doesn't mean that you still can't grow and glow. You can still grow and glow. Your work will make room for you. I heard that somewhere. I read it somewhere. Different cultures, different books of faith. And I've seen it. I've seen it happen in real life and to different people around the globe. And the reason why I decided to do things and be more focused about global and have a more global mindset is because if you have a business, if you're an entrepreneur or you're a part of an organization where you are a CEO or president or something like that, and you don't have global plans, you're not serious. Are you? Are you really serious? I don't know. I don't know. Get global plans. Start building. Start building. I did an episode about a global Black Wall Street. It is not Black people more so than it is a title like a black tie. It's a title that exhibits the quality, the level of quality that you can expect and the community of the people. Like if someone says, "Oh, you homeschool," now they expect you to be extremely intelligent. Forget Harvard, forget Yale, forget all of those brick and mortar schools competing for, the most intelligent people. Homeschool. When you say homeschool, everybody expects there's a certain quality of person, your character, your level of intelligence, your mannerism, and the way you move, the decorum that you have. Oh, it's a lot. It's a lot. So to say the global Black Wall Street is not to say a particular culture. Just like to say homeschool is not a particular culture or certified people, because there are a lot of experts in their field that participate in the homeschool community and educating the homeschoolers. That's why they have such an awesome education. I'm just saying. I know that's looking behind the curtain, but there it is. There it is. So that's why it's important for us to understand that the contributions that I've made to the online schooling community are not exclusive to the schools that I help. It is beneficial globally, and it has a generational wealth to it that I have yet to inform, because it's like this: you can covet my work, but you don't know what to do with it. It's not going to go anywhere. It's like the only thing you can do, because this is a different perspective. This is my perspective. This is, and sponsorship oftentimes means censorship. So I don't do sponsorship, and I don't really, well, I'm not going to say I don't care about money, but I don't do this for money. And if I did it for money, then my work would not have the influence that it does, because I'd always be holding out for who can pay the most money. And then that person or group, whoever it is that sponsor it, they get to dictate who knows about it, when they know about it, and the way they learn about it. That's not helping. That's a part of a set of broken systems that's holding us back, and our global economy is failing as a result. I know that's a big leap, but you can make the connections. There's a lot of kings and queens in Pond's clothing who are experts, and they say nothing because they don't want to be bothered with all the BS and rhetoric that's attached to the getting the information out there. And I totally get it. I understand. But there's a new day and a new way. And this is the way. There's a lot of people going on YouTube or social media, and they are telling it like it TI is, like Bernie Mac said, like it TI is. So it's no longer, the norm of this. It's more creativity, innovative ideas being put out there, and it's more in the box. Pablo Picasso. Let's call the whole thing hindsight. What would happen if we could operate more in hindsight kind of mentality than when the in the box mentality that we were operating in? Consider that. But let's go back to what I was saying about the online schools. Everything happens for a reason. So I'm not mad, I'm not bitter, but my thesis has gone out. But the word said it. It was written in the word. Your work will precede you. Your work will go before you. I know I have a different way of seeing things. And a lot of people tell me, oh, that's an unorthodox method of perspective of where you seeing things and methods and that you're doing things. And yeah. I get it. You can do what you want though. But this is what I'm going to do. So when people say your work will precede you, and they say things like God works in mysterious ways and he does unconventional things, you have to see it differently, because when we lean to our own understanding, we lose a lot in the translation. And I'm not going to get into that, but all books that are written and translated for others to read it. But there's a lot lost in translation. That's why you got to pray that God fills the gaps, because that's what he does. He fills the gaps. So there's a formal logic, and that formal logic is your baseline understanding, regardless of what was said and what was heard. For example, I was talking with Superintendent Lawrence Jones, and he was like, we were talking at one point, and he was like, We all attended the same church. We all attended the same meetings. We all attend, the same schools. And, we, for the better part, we all read the same peer-reviewed studies. But what I get from it and what you get from it, your takeaway may be different from my takeaway, but that just exhibits the importance and the value in diversity. A lot of people are trying to stop diversity because various reasons, but it is important, is of absolute importance. It is invaluable that we have those diverse perspectives, because that is a part of how we are growing and glowing. The American dollar is getting weaker because at one point our forefathers understood that, and they made constitutions and things. Look at Eddie on Thursdays. He'll sum that up for you. That's not my objective today, but it shows in these constitutions that our forefathers of America, they realized that even though they didn't have the elite education that we have from Harvard students today, none of them went to Harvard. That was before Harvard. I'm just saying, I'm just joking. But anyway, they came to the understanding that the diversity that this melting pot called America can be is going to make big and drastic improvements and advancements in the world. But somewhere along the way, we allowed hate and the evolution of change, and the desire not to change, hinder our development. And now we're seeing the global economy failing, and we worried about, oh, well, y'all giving all this money to the foreigners for all this war that's going on. You don't understand. It's not about the money. It's about the power and the mentality. I can give you, some people call me and ask, can I give them money? And can I get them a loan or something like that? And I'm like, yep, I could. I sure could. I'll give it to you today. You'll be broke 5 minutes later because the mentality is not there. The power to develop what that money is for is not there. A great example, I'm gonna have to go back to the Bible because a lot of people are aware of it. It's like a history book. So in the Bible, there were 5 people who were given talents, let's say money. And this money, this $1,000, okay, each. Okay, one was given 1,000. He buried that 1,000. Another was given 2,000, and all the way up to, the 5 people had, X amount of dollars. But what happened is the one giving out the money was just the vessel giving the money according to what God said to give, because God knows man's heart. No one else in flesh does. So according to what God gave him utterance, he implemented the plan to give the money that he was led to give. The one who only received one talent, $1,000, he buried it. Let's say he put it in a safe under his bed or under the mattress or something like that. He just buried it. So it only benefited him. What profits a man to gain the world but lose his soul? What profit that you should have and not do anything with it? I know that's unorthodox, but keep on. Stay with me. Stay with me. I got you. So the others who did what they did with the money to grow it, they were given more. Whereas the one who coveted, the one who buried it, the one who coveted, everything was taken, to include, you got to imagine you losing like your reputation, face, and, your pride is hurting because basically you've been told you're not smart enough to carry anything, even a little bit, because you coveted, because your first mind was to covet instead of do better. So I know that's an unorthodox way of telling that, but that's according to what we seeing every day. What we're seeing every day is a lot of people, especially in organizations, they're covering people's work. There's a lot of kings and queens in Pond's clothing because they allowed somebody else to cover their work because they said it ain't worth it. I don't care. You can't do nothing with it anyway. So what do I care? I'm going to move on and go somewhere else where I'm welcomed, as opposed to fighting with you to get you to join me when you don't even deserve the recognition for everything that we're about to do, because I'm majority carrying the whole load. And those people are my elders who have expressed these things. They're not just elders in culture or class or industry. They are just elders and experts in these fields that make up the global economy's industrial organization. That's what I mean by my elders. I don't see things the same way everybody else does and say, oh, well, that's your elder. Tina, did you know that person's Indian? Did you notice that that person's Haitian? Did you notice that that person's Asian? Did you notice that that person is not black? Yes, I noticed all of that. But did you notice that my generations of people here in America, I was born and raised here. I didn't just come in on a boat. I was born and raised here. And in my ancestral history, I am composed of a lot of different cultures. So yes, those are still my elders and those are my people. I don't care how you look at it, but when I look at it as one love. Now go back on my Facebook page all the way back to the creation, and you'll see that is who I am. And all the people that I helped on Facebook, yeah, I haven't forgotten about you. Still one love, life and favor. But listen, just because you are from a different culture and you know it, especially if you know me from Facebook or any other social media, you know I don't care about what your culture is. It's all exactly. Love is the idea. Exactly. It is not about hate. It's not about those things that keep us separate. Because the Tower of Babel, we was all supposed to be, separate at that time, but it wasn't about the division. Did not come from a color of skin, nor did it come from, you know, a labor, a class. It wasn't about your talent and skills. If you were separated by your mentality, by your heart. God works in mysterious ways. And if you're not watching, if you're not studying to show yourself approved, you might miss some of these cues. So you go back and check for alignment and see if I'm right. Exactly. One love, one heart, one God. Many parts, but one body. That is the way it is written, because that's the way it is. And the word cannot return void, because if you were able to actually see God and know he's omniscient and omnipresent, you coming back to him, bringing the word that he told you to go out there and spread, and you coming back and tell him what? You didn't do what? You will not be saying you didn't do what he told you to do. I equate that to Big Mama, right? My Big Mama. You're not telling her you didn't do what she told you to do, because she will put on all the rings she owned on one hand and she will show you motivation. That was Big Mama. God rest her soul. Hopefully she's in heaven enjoying, looking down, cracking up, that I still remember. We lost her too soon. But anyway, the leadership and committees, they kept asking me in this PhD program, they kept asking me, where are you getting this information from? How are you storing this information? How do you know this? Because I didn't have help. Now, when you attend these schools, you're supposed to have help. Remember, online school degrees don't mean nothing. You're mimicking, mocking, or parroting, or whatever they say. That's not true. But anyway, where are you getting this from? How are you getting this? Now, my book for statistics was outdated, but I still passed and got an A. But let me tell you, that wasn't me. That was a lot of prayer went into it that helped me. So it was a group effort. It just wasn't the group effort that I paid a whole lot of money to get. I'm just saying, just putting it out there. So when people try to say your online degree is invalid, show them that all of that was, a lot of prayer and a whole lot of your work, your effort that went into it. So when they ask, how did you think of this? How did this come about? There was this one PhD, Dr. Smith. She's the reason why I remember her because she's named after someone that I love dearly. But I'm not going to say her name. You know who you are. And you go on there and you see grandma. You'll see. But anyway, I love the way she recognized that, we can do this or we can do this. I had I had something that I had to do, and I was trying to find how can I do this without plagiarizing, without getting into any trouble. And, and we always have to turn up far higher than, anybody else when you're a minority in so many groups. I mean, I'm checking the box on minority female. It's a whole lot of, but anyway, she recognized that I incorporate everything that I learned and that I put together to produce what I do. And that is how I was able to help create generational wealth for those that I did that for. And that is also the way I was able to understand a global subject in a new way in order to help advance the global human resources and inform the relative theories. I don't care who says I didn't accomplish that goal or earn my PhD because some formalities of someone else's subjective perspective and everybody wants to do things so different. I don't care because I did not allow the message to return void. And I'm not going to do that. And because it's a new way and a new day, I can go online and say everything. And what I'm going to do is show my work to the public, to the world. And I'm going to do it in a different way because in the box, Pablo Picasso, it's called the whole thing Hindsight. Hey, Ty, how you doing? When she look at you in the face while she putting those ratings on. I know. But see, you and the whole time your bottom lip quivering because Big Mama put on the breeze and you know what's about to happen and you like, oh, but, and you can't say nothing. You can't say nothing. You're going to do everything she tell you. If she tell you to run to the store and get her some of them more cigarettes, even though they killing her, you going to do it. Even though somebody else told you, don't you go get her no more cigarettes. You know she got lung cancer. Don't you go do it. You going to go do it because she told you to. And you would take a licking from anybody else but Big Mama. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. But, again, God rest her soul. But anyway, some people, their perspectives are different, and that's great because we need that kind of diversity in perspective as well as in income and all kind of financial reasons because it's all adding up financially. Just like mental health is physical wealth, it is your mentality that a man believeth, so is he. If you think it and you believe it, then you can work towards doing it unless you allow people to put you in that box. But even if you in the box, Pablo Picasso, you can in hindsight, you'll see yourself and you'll be like, oh man, I didn't realize when I got out of the box. The reason why you're in the box is because you got to learn, right? You have to learn at some point. And that learning is a structured learning. It's a system, a set of broken systems, but it's a system nonetheless. Once you learn it, you add your creative skills, your talents, your desires, your motivation as they continue to change and your age and the things that you really want to do and accomplish. And then you find yourself Pablo Picasso. And then as you continue, you look in hindsight and you say, hey, wow, that edified me. So I'm not knocking the box. I'm knocking Stan in the box, but I'm not knocking the box. But anyway, that's almost been my time for today. Rewind this episode. If you think I'm going on a tangent, you might be missing something that I said. There was something that one of the doctors said. They said, you seem to be going on a tangent, and I've heard different ones say that, but I've also heard them say that's not what we were talking about, but that was relative to what we were talking about and what I needed to understand about our conversation. Some people, like for example, I'm a female who grew up in Chicago. We'll just say it that. The streets of Chicago were rough. You have to be able now, and on top of that, I was modeling a size 0, okay? Probably, and the 0 was too big, okay? It's a windy city. I'm running because the windy city's so strong, I can't move from place to place unless I'm running in place to get from point A to B. I know, Shot-Town in the house, Tony. So in that, you have to be able to discern more than what's on the surface. And in that discernment, which is innate in us all, that's what I read somewhere, and I believe it, because I read it in not just one book, but many books of faith in different ways. So we have to be able to discern things. So even though you're telling me one thing on the surface, there's other cues that's telling me something different, and I'm listening and I'm following all those cues. Some people say, well, because we're not doing in-person stuff anymore, it's more difficult to discern those things. And then the pandemic occurred and people started to put on face masks. You had a mask on the whole time because you're smiling, you're lying. These masks are not just physical, but when the pandemic occurred, the mask became physical and more obvious. So you still had to really discern what is going on despite the now physical mask. Is it possible? Yes, it is. So don't tell me I'm going on a tangent, especially when it's resonating with you. What you say, Ty? Back in the 80s, you could be 6-year-old. No, and I know, right? Big Mama knew. That's how we found out. Just say Big Mama sent me and they're going to get it to you. They're going to get it to you. I know, Jackie, I know. A lot of people want to move away from the fact that we have a form of logic, and that form of logic is innate in us all. It's a part of our innate discernment, our ability to survive. So it is not to say that because you lack a formal language and a formal education that it's reductive to who you are and your ability and your skills and the unique elect person that you are. Don't let people, constantly tell you how to be you when you have other options and you grow to understand that in hindsight, that's not you at all. So what am I saying? The evolution that we are in with this digital age, I don't have to say anything. Like Superintendent Jones said, he gonna tell it all. Guess what? This digital age is going to tell it all. And it's going to tell more than what I would have said if you just didn't do what you did, or if the proper people conducted a proper internal investigation. Because I don't like to, everybody has to earn a living. Everybody. I got bills too. And people calling me, can you help me? Can you help? I got bills too. And one of my needs are, I need my mortgage paid off. I need my car note paid off. I need this thing, what they RV called the Renegade, because it'll be able to house all of my medical needs so that I can move from A to B without having to worry about, oh, I need this, I need that. So I have bills. I have monetary needs that are extremely serious. But the message, okay, the importance of the message, I'm not going to be that one that says, God, sorry, but the word is returning back void. It won't be my name on that. I don't want to know what happened. I'm just saying. But anyway, that's been my time. It's unfortunate, but people will make sure you feel that way. I know. And it's like, if you constantly allow that, that might be one of those motivating factors that inches you along and keep inches you along, because you know you work fast, you know you were worth more, you know you want more, and they're telling you, what more can you want? You have everything. In the box, Pablo Picasso. Let's call the whole thing hindsight. What you say, Ty? I can't fix my face. I look talk to people exactly. And you know what? Sometimes it's not for us to fix our face, and that's one of the cues that people need to know so they can, so they can act right. You don't necessarily have to get them to act right. Uh, a left and a right, what my sons call Holy Ghost. When I do it, but anyway, you don't necessarily have to do that. But there's other ways. And with this digital age, there's nothing new under the sun, and there's no way you can cover it for much longer. But that's been my time today. Every episode is done with the hopes and the intention to aid mental health, being physical wealth, in the manner in which you can tangibly see it, feel it, and know it. And a lot of the things that I do, I know, right? A lot of the things that I do is done with positive intentions. And if it hits you the wrong way, maybe your perspective was dark because something about you needs to change. Thank you, Eddie. I love you too. It's not for me to change your perspective of me. And it's not for you to change your perspective of me. I'm going to watch what you do. I'm going to watch what you say. And at the end of the day, I'm going to come to an understanding about who you are and how we're going to work together or not work together. But it is what it is. I'm not going to force anybody to do anything. And if I see one door closed, I understand, God. He opens up a whole nother avenue. And when the things that people think that they took from you, it is significant, it's profound, but there's so much more. It's like, if that was all, I don't think you would have been able to do what you did, but there was a purpose. It was on purpose, for a purpose. So y'all stay tuned. Hey, thank you, First Lady. Thank you. Hey, I really appreciate you all's support. I appreciate your love, and stay tuned. Stay tuned. There is so much more. I'm going to show you so much. And if you like to stitch these things, make sure you stitch it. And if you can't put me in it, you want to put yourself in it and only give yourself credit. Just remember, you can't, you know where to come back for more. You know where to come back for more. So yes, like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to ring that bell, because I'm going to have more time, and I'm going to come on impromptu, and I'm going to show you some things, because I'm going to have more time, because I'm not going to keep worrying about who don't want to work with me and what they don't want to do. Because if one door closes, the next opens. And that means that it's a sign that I'm still trying to move in the old way, when there's a new way that's set before me that I need to walk through that door. So forgive us for being off for a bit. My father was in hospice, and then he passed, and we're still dealing with that and other family emergencies. See my Facebook, Tina Phillips, and you can follow there. See Eddie Phillips, and you can follow him so you can keep up to date. He posts more often than I do, so I'm just saying you can look on there and see some things if you're trying to follow along, so you can see what's going on. Yes, we do. We greatly appreciate your support. But that's been my time for today. Come back. I'll have more later. Yes, I appreciate you. It is needed. It's still needed. It's much needed. So I don't ever say anything. I might get out of that. I don't know. But everybody has a story to tell. So I don't know. I normally wait until it's a praise report and then I'll say it. Because when you're going through something, the last thing you need is naysayers. The last thing you need is somebody telling you what the statistics are. The last thing you need is for somebody to tell you anything that creates doubt in you, that lowers your ability to believe in the things that you need to receive. Anyway, that's been my time for today. I appreciate your support, your comments. Watch on Wednesday for the boys. Make sure you ring the bell. Watch on Thursday for Eddie. But ring the bell, because I'm going to have time now. and I'm going to do some things differently. All right, we're going to help grow and glow a lot of different people's generational wealth locally as well as globally. Remember, mental health is physical wealth.
Mental health is physical wealth.